Abbey Thompson is a Bachelor of Business Administration and Marketing at Nipissing University. Abbey was born and raised in North Bay. Please welcome Abbey to the stage.
Click. So I have two rules to my presentation. One, we're all going to practice some self-care. I have some tough stuff that I'm going to talk about, so if you need to take a break, that's totally cool. And second is that this is my mental illness story, not the story for all of those who have mental illness. So I'm Abbey. I'm 21. I'm soon graduate of the business program at Nipissing, and these are my labels. I've unknowingly lived with anxiety and ADHD most of my life, and then developed an eating disorder in high school, and depression presented itself at that time as well. Not knowing that I had mental illness most of my life led to me having some Band-Aid solutions most of my life. So when I started university, that was a big enough life change that those Band-Aids kind of got ripped off, and some severe illness symptoms started to present themselves. So I went to a counselor in 2017, and in one session, I got diagnosed with an eating disorder, an anxiety disorder, and depression. It's a pretty efficient one session. You can laugh. I make lots of dark humor jokes. You're going to have to get used to it. In 2017 was tough. I didn't adjust to that information as quickly, which kind of sucked. I actually did end up debating dropping out of university, but 2018 things got a little better. So I wanted to show you guys what my mental illness looks like. Eating disorders look different for everyone, but this is what I looked like at my peak. Basically, people thought I was healthy and happy when I was the opposite. I was restricting a lot. This is what my depression looks like. It's not really feeling sad, it's more not feeling anything, which makes things kind of tough to do. It's led to some points where I can't take care of myself, so my lovely parents who are in the audience have helped take care of me sometimes. As well, I have my anxiety. You know when you're leaning back in a chair and you almost think you're gonna fall off? I kind of feel like that at a constant state with as well as anxiety and panic attacks, which is pictured. Then finally, but not the last, I have ADHD. That's my most recent diagnosis. I don't know how to take a picture of ADHD, so there's me with the letters to just be consistent with my slides. So there it is. So that leads me to the process of what it's been like for all my diagnoses. So I get the diagnosis, and then I go, great. Self-awareness doesn't really change anything for me because I've lived with it for 21 years. And then the symptoms happen, and I go, oh, that's why. Power is knowledge, and then I repeat the process about 6 other times. And then that kind of leads to this conflict of the difference between how society and our institutions expect our brains to function, and then there's how my brain actually functions. So while I'm super positive about mental illness, there are quite a lot of days where I get really frustrated with it and resent it a lot because I just get stuck on the idea of why doesn't my brain function the way that most people's does, and instead of looking at it of how to adapt to healthily living with mental illness, which has led me to the realization that the world isn't actually built for mental illness and disabilities, but that doesn't mean I'm not able to contribute to society. And that's led me to trying to figure out how can I bridge the gap between the realities of normal brain function and my brain function. And that's led to a lot of work with therapists, which is evaluating my behaviors and finding strategies that can kind of fix the oxymoron of that is, how do I live healthily with mental illness? And this leads me to one of my favorite, my medication, which is the sponsor of me being here, because I would not be here without it. You can laugh at that. My traveling wellness kit, which has essential oils that helps me during my panic attacks and just kind of grounds me. And then, the trial and error of trying to figure out how can I healthily live with mental illness, which is a lot of lifestyle changes. It's been a lot of hard work, but I'm here and it's been worth it, obviously, and I thank all my supports for everything they've done. While I would love to have 5 minutes of a captive audience to talk just about myself, I have homework for all of you. You are all gonna either currently be an employer, a manager or coworker, either now or in the future, so I need your help in fixing that gap between the realities of brain function and not normal brain function. So when you're in a workplace, I have 3 simple steps. Ask all of your coworkers or all of your employees, how can I build a work environment that's more productive or more effective for how you work? try in your best means possible. It can be small or big, to try and adapt to those needs, and then just like check in often because you may need to, those adaptions may not be fully working or new problems might be arising. So that's my homework for you as I try to figure out how I deal with the difference between brain functionality realities. I need a little help from everybody else. Thank you so much. And my last thing is if you are an employer, if this presentation hasn't convinced you to try and look into the diversity and inclusion of your workplace, studies show that inclusive and diverse companies are more profitable than those that aren't. So that's great. So thank you so much for listening to me and enjoy the rest of the presentation.